Yeah, just let me know if it gets bad or anything. We're going to go ahead and start with the CX4 because I think it's the most balanced gun in the game. It's not hella good at anything. It's not extremely bad at anything. You got some consistent damage since it got buffed a little bit. The DPS is a little bit higher. The fire rate got increased back before Season 2. And you can still head peek with it. It's probably one of the best head peeking guns. We can go based on this thing at the bottom. Damage is just consistent. Versatility, you can use it at just about every range. It's not going to be super effective at long range, and it's not going to be super effective at close range. But I still think it's balanced where it's at. Accuracy is basically perfect, especially if you find a higher rarity one. Fit and loadout, it really depends what other guns you're running. But you know, it's good on the drop. It's good if you need a rifle or if you need something that has consistent DPS. I think it's pretty good there. Strength against walls, it suffers. All of the rifles in this game suffer a lot against walls. So that would be a downside, but you can head peek with it. So we're going to start and we're going to kind of balance everything around the CX4 in this case because I feel like it's where it should be. How close... Yeah, I saw your list online. It was pretty similar to where I would put a lot of the things. Let's get all of the rifles out of the way first. M60, I guess, is categorized as rifle. Where would I put the M60? We're actually going to hold off because we kind of need to have a reference point of where everything else goes before I think you can categorize the M60 because it's such a weird gun. We'll do AK though. I say AK goes S, and we'll move these things back and forward based on where they belong in the tier as more of them get added to the list. I personally think that the AK has very consistent damage per second, and let's just go through all these things first and then I'll just talk about it. So incredibly good time to kill. It kills very, very quickly. Versatility, good at short and medium range, not incredibly good at long range, but you can burst it a little bit and get some damage for sure. Accuracy is pretty good overall. There is actually a bug right now that makes you experience more accuracy with all the guns in the game when you shouldn't. And I'm not sure when that bug might be fixed, but once it does get fixed, expect just about everybody in the game to get much better with every gun. It's going to get pretty ridiculous. Fit and loadout, you can put this, you know, if you have a sniper, you can grab onto it. If you have a shotgun, you can grab onto it. It basically fits with whatever you're running, like if you don't have one, so it's always good to pick up. It's usually going to be a choice between the AK and the P90, I'd say. Strength against the walls, AK suffers a little bit there, because it does take so many shots to kill a wall. I have my list here, actually. AK is 7 hits to kill a wall, so way too many shots to kill a wall. I believe the MK is 6, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So we're going to go ahead and... I mentioned the P90. We're going to go ahead and grab the P90 next. P90 is going to 100% go above AK, strictly for the reason that the P90's magazine size is absolutely massive. It's got, what is it, 40 at rank, at 1 star? 40, 45, 50, 55. No, it's 45. 45 at 1 star P90, which is nuts. So damage time to kill, you know, the bullets come out incredibly fast, kills very quickly. The damage is got nerfed, but it's still very consistent, which is good. Versatility, if you have a long range weapon, then it's going to fit in there. If you have a shotgun, you could use the P90 for mid range, but it can kind of fit anywhere. How you doing today, Pesky? I would say that the accuracy is... For the first like 20 or 25 bullets, it's just a straight line. And then if you reset the accuracy after that, you can save a lot of ammo and have really good accuracy. Anybody that doesn't do that, I definitely recommend giving that a shot. The AK is going to have better time to kill if you're hitting shots, just because the damage is higher though. I'm going to rank the P90 above the AK for 2 reasons though, because the magazine size is literally 3 times or like twice the size of the AK. So if you have gold P90, gold AK is like 32, I think, maybe 32 or 36, and gold P90 is 60. And on top of that, the P90 it kills walls so much faster. So the P90 actually kills walls in 6 hits. The AK is 7 hits. But because the fire rate's so much faster on the P90, it just shreds through walls. So especially at close range, if someone's like trying to build and get away, the P90 is going to just take them out. Hey, Swahamia, how you doing? After the P90, we can go ahead and rank the MP5. You haven't missed a whole lot, Red. We're just talking about the guns as we're throwing them on this list. If you guys have any thoughts, feel free to add whatever you think as well. MP5, I love this gun, but it has 2 very big shortcomings. The gold MP5, the gold one, only has 30 bullets in the magazine. And it also takes the same amount of shots to kill a wall as a P90 does, which is 6. So you have to use a 5th of your magazine to destroy 1 wall. I'd say at low rank or like mid rank, the MP5 is pretty god tier because there's not a whole lot of people building walls. But at high rank, when people get shot once and then build a fortress of 7 walls, the MP5 doesn't really have a place. You can get some consistent damage, and it has, if you can get a straight laser on someone, the damage per second is ridiculously high, so I will still be putting it probably at S tier. But it just gets countered so hard by walls. This tier list, by the way, is going to be represented on probably high tier gameplay. I might rearrange it at the end and be like, hey, we talked about high tier gameplay. Here's how I would rank it if it was, lower tier. And MP5, I think it would definitely be like S, like top of S tier or S plus at lower mid rank, just because people don't build. But at high rank, you just get screwed by walls. Same with the AK. AK is such a good damaging gun, but it gets screwed by walls. P90 the magazine is so big and it shoots so fast that it can shred through those walls. And then the difference between the P90 and the MP5 is just the mag size, which the P90 gold is literally double the MP5, which is nuts. How's Machi today? We're doing all right. Just writing this tier list. Got some food in my system. P90 head peek is king. Yeah, P90 and a lot of these guns you can head peek really well. AK got the recoil nerf for the head peeking, which makes it a little bit harder to one hand and head peek with it. MP5 you can still head peek pretty good with it, but again with the P90 thing, when you're head peeking with the P90, you can just keep spraying that thing over the wall, and you have so much ammo that you just don't even have to stop spraying. I'm starting my phone off, so I don't have to worry about the phone. Gold Magnum is S tier. We'll see kind of where we put everything else first. I don't think the Gold Magnum's quite S plus, but I'll get into that in a sec. MP5 has much better accuracy mid-range than a P90. True. Very true. The MP5 is, I think, a better AK. It's a trade-off because you get more damage with the AK, but the MP5 shoots so much faster. I need to test the exact time to kill on these. Let's see if I have it written down. Yeah. So let's see. Headshot time to kill. Yeah, so the AK is actually way stronger in terms of time to kill. It'll just kill it so much faster. So higher damage, and MP5 kind of beats it out against walls, so it evens out there. But I think this is pretty balanced. Like these guns, I might even drop them to A tier and then drop the CX4 1 tier. So I feel like these guns are good, but they have weaknesses. Yeah, what's up, Kevin? Head peek is trash. Depends on which gun you're using. If you're using something like the Seiko, the head peek is definitely god tier. Let's do that actually. We'll base things on. Well, let's just leave things for now and see where everything else fits, and we'll move stuff around later if we have to. We're gonna hold off on the MK for a little bit until some more things get placed on here. Knife. We're gonna start down here, because I don't think I really need to explain that. It's really good in terms of like, you're gonna get 35 damage. I'm really glad that they added that change where it guarantees max damage. I really wish the sword had that, or at least I wish the sword had a minimum of 25 damage. But P90 is a short to short mid-range gun, otherwise it's hard to get good accuracy. Yeah, I agree. But especially at long range, and again, this is based on like higher tier gameplay for sure. People are just going to build a couple walls, and then you'll just be spraying the walls from distance with these guns. I think the MP5 kills walls faster, though. So you might get like a hit every once in a while with the MP5. M10. I'm sticking it up here. This gun was garbage in Season 0. It was garbage in Season 1. And then whatever change they did for it in Season 2 made this thing ridiculous. You can't beat it with a DT anymore. Like, you can't. I got in a fight. I think it was gold M10 versus like purple DT, and I couldn't hit him a third time. I couldn't finish my reload before he got 4 shots off. It's just has such consistent damage, and I'm not sure what they did with it, but we can rank it on this damage time to kill. It's got a ridiculously fast time to kill. Versatility would be where it suffers a little bit because it's only short range, although I've seen some very long range shots with it done before. Accuracy is the spread on this thing is so tight. That's why you can shoot people from such far range, because the pellets are so close together. Fit and loadout, you're probably going to want a close range and a mid or long range gun. So if you have a long range gun, it'll fit for sure. But you need to trade off probably a P90 for it. Strength against walls kind of sucks, but the time to kill is so fast that you might not even have to worry about that. I'm not sure if I want an S or S+. We're going to leave it at S+ for now. We might drop it to S and we might rearrange some stuff. But we'll see kind of where stuff ends up. Let's do... You guys can't hear the concert unless I'm talking, right? Like if I don't talk, you can hear the concert. Okay, good. We'll see. Knife is good for speeds and builds. It's okay. The issue with the knife is it's only close range. Like if we go off this, the time to kill is pretty quick, but you need to be very close. Versatility, it can only do one thing, which is stabby stab it very, very close. Accuracy, 100%. And if you've gone to prison, you might have an advantage. Fit and loadout, it doesn't... That's another thing. At the end of the game, you don't want a knife in your inventory for the movement speed. You're going to trash this so you can fit more heals. And then strength against walls. It's okay against walls. You always get guaranteed damage. Kill wall 3 hits. I think they should revert DT nerf so it can compete. Either that or nerf M10 range. Yeah, what I'd like to see is... I'd like to see the DT get changed back to where it was, just to see if it could even compete. Because as I said, like I got in a fight with an M10 yesterday, and I'm pretty sure I still have my DT muscle memory down, but I couldn't even finish the reload before the M10 killed me. So even if they buffed the damage on the DT back to where it was, like I couldn't even get to the point where I was shooting my third bullet. So the DT is definitely going to be below the M10, but I still think the DT is pretty good. It's in a... Let's move stuff down. We'll move stuff down. P90 is going to stay up there. Do this. No, we'll do this for now. I'm so like conflicted where to put the DT right now. It's only time to kill is pretty quick if you can get the reload down. It does take a lot of practice to get the reload down. Versatility, it's only short range. Accuracy takes some practice, but very accuracy. Fit and loadout, you're going to want one close and one far range, so it's fine. Strength against walls, I mean, it's not bad against walls. It's, what is it against walls? 3? Is it 3? I don't think I tested that. Damn, I didn't test that. Can't the DT 2-shot? No, the max damage that the DT can do at the moment is 72. If that's all pellets hitting it in the head. So the least amount of shots, if you hit every single pellet of the DT in someone's head, you can kill them in 3 shots. It'll do 210. Now, that being said, the DT, it's good for a breach gun. So if you get like a Seiko shot on someone, or if you get like a little bit of damage, crack their shields or something, then you rush in with a DT, it's a really, really good gun in those cases. So I think you're going to see a lot more of that, or that's how it should be being used at this point. We'll see. DT slept on. It used to be so good. It just doesn't kill fast enough for the amount of effort you have to put into learning it. That's my opinion on it right now. How do you feel about flipping the DT versus raising it? I personally got in the habit of raising it from Season 0 and Season 1, so I haven't... And the flip was broken on Steam VR until the very end of Season 2, so I didn't even get it... I haven't even really messed with the flip at all. I should play with that a little bit more to see how it affects it. But I got the reload so fast with just like the motion, like the down-up motion for like pushing the pellets in and then pulling the gun up, that I don't think the flick would be any faster, but I definitely need to play with that a little bit. Yeah, we can do M60 next. They should add parabolic pathways to bullets. Then you're getting into bullet ballistics and the game can get pretty wonky. We'll see. Like Pavlov has parabolic pathways and it gets a little weird, but we can talk about that later in the stream if you want to play. M60 super underrated, is still super good as long as the time to wind up behind hard cover. Yeah, and especially with the higher tier ones, it's like the gold one spins up so fast. Flip was broken mid-season on Oculus too, not just PC. Okay, gotcha. I seem to be much better using DT, but I flip reload. Okay, I'll definitely start trying that. Yeah, I can find the clip for you guys and show it to you really quick. I killed someone like instantly with a 2-star M10. Let me find it. Or it was very, or no, it was a 1-star. Like some of the mechanics of the game seem so weird. Where would I have put that? Let's see. 1-star M10. Yep. So take into account with this video, guys, this is a 1-star. This is a 1-star M10. You can see right there. It's got 1 star. Right? Check it out. That was 25, 49, 49, 35 from that range with a 1-star. That was 160 damage in like no time with a 1-star. Like, it's pretty good. Biggest nerf to the M60 was the zone being so much slower. Yeah, and I think the M60's interesting. I think it's really strong, especially at high level, because it'll shred builds so hard. And high level people have so many builds stacked up that if you get rid of their cover, especially if they have to cross an open area, they'll get pretty destroyed. Gold M10 is another level, an easy 4 or 5 shot kill. Yeah, easy. You can kill in 4 shots with any M10, which is pretty nuts to me. Like the damage doesn't increase, the spread will change a little bit with the rarity, but you can still 4-shot someone with a 1-star. All the higher level players in the game seem to instant kill with the M10 no matter what star rating. Yeah, it takes some practice for sure. So why not S plus the M10? I'm just seeing if anything else comes in, or like, I'll move this around. Like these aren't hard spots until the very end. But yeah, we can throw the M10 up here. The only reason it wasn't up here is because it doesn't do anything at long range and it's not very good against walls. So, like the time to kill is ridiculous. And if you find like a purple or gold one, you basically want to drop whatever your other gun is to pick it up. So yeah, we can throw it up there for now. The gold Magnum has 1 tap for builds. Yeah, definitely. And 2 shots for the rest of them. Let's actually do the Magnum now. I think I had it at, it was right in the middle of the road before it got buffed. And then when it got buffed, it got the damage increased on headshot for gold, increased to 100. It did get nerfed, so the fire rate was lowered, but I still think this gun's S tier. Like this gun is very nuts. You can one-hand it, you can head peek with it. The damage on it, especially if you have gold one, the damage changes with rarity, so this one's a little trickier. But purple or gold, you can 4-shot people in the body, and then gold, you can 2-shot people if you hit them both in the head. Also the gold 1-shots walls. Accuracy is basically 100%, and if you get the timing down on the bounce, you can still fire it very fast. Fit and loadout, it can go anywhere if you need a close range gun, if you need a long range gun. And something really nice about the Magnum that I think that not enough people take into account, when you pick up a box of pistol ammo, you get 16 bullets. Like it gives you a full PX4 clip. The Magnum only has 7 rounds in the chamber. So you basically get 2.5 clips for the Magnum off of one box. So when you get to late game, you have so many bullets for this thing. And just like the amount of damage that the bullets do too. That's something that not a lot of people take into account. Like if you pick up a box of AR ammo, you get 1 magazine, and then when you spray your AK magazine, you're out of ammo. But if you pick up 1 box of pistol ammo, you basically have 2.5. Like the amount of damage potential on this thing for the ammo boxes is pretty ridiculous. Strength against walls, the gold one hits walls. The purple and the rest of them 2-hit walls. I don't think it's S plus tier because it'll lose to the M10 at close range, and it will lose to. We're gonna put the Seiko up here. That's not even a question. we don't even talk about this, right, guys? The Magnum will lose to the Seiko at every range, and it'll lose to the M10 at close range, but it'll beat the M10 at long range. So it's like back and forth. Is the revolver better than the P90? I don't think so. This one's kind of like a skill matchup. Like these ones can kind of swap back and forth. If you have a really, really skilled Magnum user, it might go towards the Magnum user. But overall, I say it's more often going to go to the P90. Reload is good if you flip it. Yeah, I love pushing the bullets in and then flicking the Magnum closed. Is it just me or is the Yump better in the hands of noobs? I think it's just that a lot of noobs don't build. That's a really big identifier, like separation between new players and more well-known players is just the ability to build. I just realized that you followed there. 505280, thanks for the follow. Any hands in the hands of a noob, any gun in the hands of a noob is scary. So the number one rule that I used to have for the game is never rush, because even a noob with a shotgun can kick your ass. Hardly build and pop one. Yeah, if you with 3.6 hours. Did you play it all with Wise? Wise is pretty cool. Is that why you ended up getting him? M10 for me is alright, but it lets me down so much. Oh, you just gotta practice with it a little, Pasta. It's pretty nuts. The sword is really good at close range. Yeah, but it doesn't really do anything else. Like, it's only good at close range. That's one of the things about it. It does help with the movement speed, but like an M10 will beat a sword unless you're like standing on them. I build a bunch, just don't know how to rush build. Yeah, that's the hard part for sure. All right, back to tier list. Seiko, I don't think I need to talk about this, right? Like, this is the best gun in the game. 100%. Eep. Best gun in the game, 100%. It works at close range. It works at medium range. It works at long range. At 2 hits, every single Seiko can 2-hit. Like the 1-star, if you hit him twice in the head, it'll 2-hit. The purple and gold, you have to hit him once in the body and once in the head. Still 2 hits. Pretty good against... Oh, man. 5 gifted subs. Thanks, Play Enjoy. I appreciate that. 5 gifted? Sheesh, thanks. Ah, it's gone. I don't know what I did. Come back. I dislike the Seiko since I'm not used to the way guns work in the game. Yeah, it takes a bit of practice. Works at close range. You can 2-shot purple or gold. Just once in the head, once in the body, they're dead. It'll actually out-damage the shotguns if you're accurate with one of the shots. The range on it's nuts because it's classified as a sniper. You can one-hand it, which allows you to rapid fire it. You can one-hand it, which allows you to peek over walls with it. It's too good at everything. This is 100% the best gun in the game, the Seiko. And the way the tier list is set up is the best gun is on the left, and then it like slowly goes down, and then you switch rows. Got it. Before I head up, my final thoughts on 2 guns. PX4 is A or B, and 1911 is S. Yeah, 1911 is very nuts. Seiko's game changer once you learn how to one-hand it. Yeah, I think it's a bit strong. But I've also thought it's been too strong since November. Ever since my first tier list, Seiko's been at the top of the tier list. Like, you can go watch my very first one, and like, Seiko is the best gun in the game. There's no argument. With the Seiko, do you hold the dominant hand loosely to help aim? With the Seiko, you only have to hold one hand to aim it. So don't even use your other hand, to be honest. Just keep your other hand by the bolt. So as soon as you shoot, you can pull the bolt back. There's no point to hold it with 2 hands. We can do the PX4 now. This gun is very slept on. This gun is very strong. People don't realize how fast you can shoot it, and you do have to like deal with you pulling the trigger individually, which will shake up your aim just a little bit. But this gun is very, very, very strong, and the damage changes with rarity. Now, if you get a gray PX4, it's going to feel like garbage. So in terms of like consistency, it's going to be all over the place. If you find a gray one, you're not going to want to pick it up. If you find a gold one, you know, it might be worth holding on to if you don't have anything else, but it's only good at like short, mid-ish range. So not easy for noobs, not worth holding on to over other guns. So I'm going to put this at B tier. But I'm going to say that this gun is slept on. This gun is so good and nobody uses it. Like, it's crazy. Like, try this gun out. Like, just go a day with only using the PX4. Test out how fast you can actually shoot it in lobby and everything. This gun can shoot in ridiculously fast. I pray for a Seiko nerf or probably a two-handed gun. Yeah, I have asked them to try to make it two-handed since like November. I'm like, hey, do this. It might help. I like to use my other hand because it feels natural. Yeah, I do that all the time for a lot of the guns, like because I play Pavlov as well. It helps keep me in good habits. But definitely learn how to shoot the Seiko one-handed. Do you grip your controller tightly or loosely when using the Seiko? The Seiko. I hold it. I guess I use the index, so my hand's kind of always bound to my controller, so it might be a little bit different. Yeah, I don't think I can answer that from an index point of view. I probably hold my controllers a little bit harder than most people, though. 1911. This gun is nuts. Worse than the Magnum. But there's a lot of factors that people... Well, we'll move this around a little bit once I like... I'll kind of like set everything roughly where it should be, and then we'll move it around. But the 1911 is nuts. Once you find out how fast this thing can fire, and since the pistols in the game are so accurate, there's a couple of things to take into account. Same as the PX4, the damage changes with rarity, but as soon as you have a 2-star or better 1911, you can 2-shot walls. So 2-star, 3-star, and 4-star both break walls in 2 hits. So if someone starts frantically building or something, this thing will actually just shred their walls. Also, the damage on this thing is nuts. It's 45 for a gold 1911 headshot. 45. And then it's like 29 for a body shot. So, like, not only can it shred walls ridiculously fast, but it's like the damage is so good. You can head peek with it more accurately than any of the guns here. Works at mid-range very well. It's really accurate. It does have some damage fall off more than the Magnum. But yeah, this is either going to be S tier or a high A tier for sure. Like right next to AK. I might put it right below AK. Well, we'll think about this in a little bit. But 1911, like all of the pistols are incredibly slept on, but they do require a lot more like precision to use. So it's a good like precision for damage, I guess. Like if you can keep your accuracy. Find the pop one sucks with the index controllers because they have to grip hard to actually grip in the game. I would check your controls because I don't have to grip too hard for it to work. Howdy, what's up, Anderson? PX4 over 1911. The DPS is higher, technically, if you can hit max fire rate with the PX4. But if you're spamming your trigger, this is why I would still rank the 1911 higher, because you can get used to the fire rate of the 1911. And unless you're using like a trigger mod or if you're using custom bindings to hit the max fire rate on the PX4 so you don't have to shake the controller when you pull the trigger, your accuracy is going to shake a little bit every single time you pull the trigger with the PX4. It'll do that with the 1911, but you can adjust a lot easier. And because there's that extra half second of time between shots, you can kind of like realign your shot a lot easier. But with the PX4, technically the DPS is higher if you're firing it as fast as it can go, but you're going to sacrifice accuracy for that. Even a gray 1911 seems to do roughly 20 to 25. Yeah, yep. I don't remember the exact numbers. Let's see, what is it? 29, 27, 23. 23 for a body shot with the 1-star. I'm pretty sure. Or 24. 23 or 24. I don't remember exactly, but it's very strong. People, yeah. Well, it could be 21. It's above 20 for one bullet of the 1911. What's up, Flutter? Yeah, 24. That would make sense. Wait, 20, 29, 27, 25, 24? Wouldn't it be 25, 23? They love the AK since it feels right. Yeah, AK feels... The nice thing about the AK, it's basically the exact same gun in every single VR game. If you play Pavlov, the AK feels pretty much the same. If you play Veil, the AK feels pretty much the same. Pop 1, AK is pretty much the same. Onward, AK is pretty much the same. Like, this gun doesn't change in any of the games. It's like so... I don't know. It's just so normal. It's so predictable. Can do healing items? Yeah, we'll do healing items at the end, probably. We'll get through all the guns and everything first. Scale of 1 to 10, how much do you care about eye movement? Oh, we're doing like a YouTube video tier list thing right now. I'd say like a 6 or 7. Eye movement would be cool. 1911 God tier weapon off hot drop. Yeah, definitely. And if you hit like 2 shots in the head, then it's only 3 shots. AK is hard to aim. Make sure you shoot a lot of the guns with 2 hands if you think they have bad accuracy, because if you hold it with 2 hands, the accuracy, like the MP5, a lot of people would always be like, Sumatchi, you're laser beaming people with the MP5. I hold basically every gun in the entire game with 2 hands because I'm weird. I try to stay in good habits for like Pavlov and other games, but it's like try holding the guns with 2 hands. Like it'll help your accuracy a ridiculous amount. Same reason why P90 should be dropped, because you would take a AK over P90. I wouldn't at a comp game. I might in a pub lobby because I like the way the AK feels in a pub lobby more, but I would not take a P90 over an AK in a comp game because the AK does not kill builds fast enough. And at a high tier, the P90 will shred down all of those builds that everybody's using. Honor's AK is less fire rate. Yeah, it feels like the same gun. That's the thing. Feels like there should be 2 ops to rate. The working one. Well, good. We could do the op in a moment. We'll do the UMP next. We just take a 19 over an AK. It depends. That would 100% depend on the rest of my loadout. Hold it with 2 hands just for the sake of accuracy. I try my hardest one hand Seiko. Yeah, just give it a couple shots. There's I think the game normally patches on Thursdays, so that's tomorrow. So we'll see if something changes tomorrow. Where's the op? Yeah, we'll make the op a little bit bigger. Actually, it's so small. We'll see if anything changes and like what happens tomorrow. I'm always excited for patches because I can make a patch notes video and because it kind of shifts the meta of the game a little bit. Is slept on. B tier. maybe C tier. B tier. B tier. B tier. So damage, it's got consistent damage and it's got a fire rate that's really easy to predict, but it takes 18 shots to kill someone if you're hitting him in the body. The versatility, it's only really good at close range or medium range, and there's way better guns in all of those situations. The accuracy would be the part that the UMP is the best at. It has incredibly low recoil, and it's very easy to head peek and shoot over walls with it. What's up, Atheist? GG's yesterday. I should probably get in the Pop 1 community. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Very accurate, but doesn't get anything else to it. Yeah, it's got accuracy. You can head peek with it, but like if it's UMP versus PX4, I would have the PX4 because the PX4 is going to have higher damage, higher DPS on the PX4 for sure. And you're going to consume less ammo trying to hit people with the PX4. And if you get a hit with the PX4, it's much more rewarding because you get, you know, whatever it is, 16 damage with the PX4. Ah, Noose, thanks for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. We're making a tier list right now. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, I'd say B tier. I'd actually need to test. This would be funny to test the time to kill between the UMP and the CX4. I bet the CX4 would be faster because of that buff fire rate and because it does more damage. It might be like almost close to identical. UMP is harder to reload than any other SMG. Yeah, the time to kill is probably pretty similar on those. I think the knife is supposed to be down here, so we're not going to move it. It gives you some movement speed, and it's a last resort, but it's not worth keeping. M60. You can do the M60 now, right? Or what do you want to... Which one should we do next? MK, M60, Op. Which one should we pick now? I'm trying to think. Because Op basically has two versions, right? You have... I actually made an entire video, or I didn't make an entire video batches, but I made a... I made this. It doesn't have all the numbers. This was back to season 2, but I calculated all of this exact time to kill, exact damage, exact amount of times or hits to walls, everything. For Op and Seiko, I did time to kill at different ranges, like 15 meters versus like right next, or like the readjustment. So like I did one of these. I'll probably need to do another one, or I could try to make a YouTube video. It takes so long, and it's so weird because like creating a video like that or testing all of that takes so long, and all of the guns are so similar that it's like, oh, this gun's faster by in like 8/100ths of a second. Like everything's so hard, and like it's not even worth it almost. MK? Okay, I heard MK first. We'll do MK. MK is a god tier damage and a god tier versatility. Once you get used to using the MK at close range, it's actually not bad. You do need to two-hand it. It's not very good at going against walls. The accuracy is very good, but only when you're two-handing it. The parts that it's going to suffer are these two: the fit-in loadout and the strength against walls. It takes 6 shots with an MK to break a wall. I'll get back to... let's go back to this one. Yeah, thanks, Exo. So it takes 6 shots with an MK to break a wall. On the 1-star MK, the 1-star MK only has 18 bullets in the magazine. So it takes a third of your magazine to break one wall. So that's not worth it. Yeah, 2 bursts out of your 6 bursts to destroy 1 wall. And at high rank, this isn't worth picking up for that very reason. Like, you're going to be reloading so much and burning through so much ammo just to kill walls. The AK is a little bit better. And the MP5 is a little bit better because you can just hold down the trigger, and every once in a while you get like a stray bullet. If the MK got its damage, or not its damage, but if it got its wall destruction, like if it was like 3 or 4 shots to destroy a wall, I think the MK would be like S tier, or it would be like up here. But it takes so long to destroy a wall. It beats the AK at long range. It beats the MP5 at long range. It loses to all 3 of them at close range. I think it actually ties with the AK, and I think it ties with the AK at close range if you get it perfect. But it's hard. Like, it's a very high skill cap, and the skill doesn't give you enough of a reward right now. I love the MK. This is probably my favorite gun in the game, is the MK, because it's fun to use. It's very like, it feels really good to get kills with it and to hit those bursts, especially when you hit like all 3 in the head. But it's it just sucks against walls. It would still lose, like, even if you buffed the damage against walls to 4 shots to kill walls or something, it would still lose to everything up here at their respective ranges. So I don't think it belongs in S tier. But I think it's a good place. It just needs the walls changed. Does that make sense? Burst fire weapons, so that's something to note. Yeah. What guns would you pair with the MK to build a weapons loadout? Okay, so this is one of the reasons that another one of the reasons I don't think the MK is good. Because of this second to last one, the fit-in loadout. I would put it high A tier, but there's this fit-in loadout thing that really kind of destroys the MK. So there's a very high-tiered long-range, short-range, mid-range gun right here, and there's a very high-tier short-range. There's a very high tier short range. And then both of these are very good at, most ranges. So, like, the MK has such a hard place because the only guns you'd pair with it, like, if you had an MK, you wouldn't want a Seiko, right? That's basically 2 long range, short range, medium range weapons. So you wouldn't want both of these. But you'd always pick the Seiko over the MK. At close range, like if you're having a close range fighter, you're trying to swap out a close range weapon, you're not going to grab the MK because it's too inconsistent or takes too much skill to get it to work at close range. So you're not going to pick the MK at close range. So this like fit in loadout puts it in such a rough spot. It doesn't kill walls fast because there are so many guns better than it at their respective jobs. Like it belongs down here. Like the AK you can grab with a Seiko, right? Because of how like this AK can make up for the Seiko's, you have to bolt this gun. If that, that's the only downside of the Seiko is if you really don't feel like moving your other hand. But it's also very bad at head peeking, so it's going to be down here. There's just so, like if you grabbed an MK, there's too little guns to pair with it. Like you'd have to do like MK shotgun or MK sword. And you're basically kneecapping yourself at that point. It's good outside of shotgun range and mid-range, true, but there's all these guns that are better than it at those ranges and more consistent. Very high skill cap. It just needs that like wall modifier changed, I think. Sword. MK P90 work. Yeah, that would be okay. MK P90 would probably work. Sword. A tier? Like the sword's such a weird spot because it does exactly what it's supposed to do. You can quickly kill people at short range. It gives you the movement speed, so it does have an effect that's actually helpful outside of short range. But that's what it's for. So... But the other thing is you can pair the sword with something, right? You go sword Seiko, or you can go sword AK, or sword something. Like it pairs well with basically everything else except shotguns. So it pairs well with everything. Kills walls fast. The time to kill is ridiculously fast. The accuracy, you don't even talk about that. Yeah. I'd say A. Sound good to you guys? High B tier? Yeah. A or B. It's... if we go to comp level... It has, like, the clutch factor of the sword is so high. And that's why I'd put it higher than, I think, B tier. Because you can do some ridiculously stuff. There's some ridiculous stuff with the sword. Like, I won a comp match with a sword because it was the sword. Like, if I would have had a DT or something with the sword, or a DT instead, I wouldn't have been able to do what I would have because of the way healing items worked in the game. But I was able to just rush into a building and kill 3 people with the sword in a comp match. So, like, the clutch factor on the sword is another thing to take into account. I guess that's not something that you can put down here. Like, DT has a fairly high clutch factor. Magnum has a fairly high clutch factor. Seiko has a fairly high clutch factor. But the fact that you can 2-hit everybody with 100% accuracy, if they're close together, you win. That's why I'd probably put it up here. I'm going to put it above... No, we're going to put it here. Just because it doesn't do any mid-range. It's there because of the speed and because it can rush down people that are trying to like zone you, and it can 2-hit people. Like the clutch factor on this thing is just ridiculous. I'm gonna put it at A. I can show you a clip later of like me doing.
Nice! Nice!
Sumatchi, dude, I fucked out. I'm so bad. Okay, nice job though. Nice job.
Right? There's no other gun in here except maybe like the M10, but the M10 time to kill, you still have to cut through people's shields. The sword cuts directly into health. So there's just like there's like an extra like hidden clutch factor on the sword that's really important. We'll do op last because I hate it. M60, this gun is very good, but let's see, damage is actually higher than all of the rifles. Versatility, it's kind of only good at mid-range, but it's very good at breaking builds, and it's good for suppression. Like at high, like at comp games, this gun's really good. Accuracy is pretty good, especially if you're holding it with two hands, although the speed debuff, like when you're running around with it, really sucks. Yeah, Season 1 it was definitely S+. The fire rate, or like the spin up time, changes with rarity, and the mag size changes with rarity. Fit and loadout, you basically have to sacrifice an AK, an MP5, a P90, or something to hold on to this, so it's not really worth, like, you're going to drop this for one of those guns. Strength against walls is nuts, though. As I make more and more of these tier lists, I'm realizing that more and more of the guns are just like going towards the middle. Especially at high level. But like when you're going out to destroy a wall or something, it'll like you'll get domed by an Oppo, you'll get domed by a Seiko. That's what makes it like it's risky. You think B? It's just the strength against walls that makes it so good. I think it's A tier. Like above MK. This right now is mostly for high comp. Mostly high comp. Mac Cheesy, thanks for the follow. Welcome. I'd say it goes above the MK in A tier. I don't want to have to resize this again, man. We're gonna do this. MK is better than M60. I think it's just the wall factor that makes the M60 better. If the MK had the ability to destroy walls faster, it would 100% be. Or if it was like 4 shots to the walls, it would 100% be better. Last gun, the op. The op with the frame lag is at A tier. I haven't been able to shoot this gun without lag in 2.5 months. So I don't know exactly where it would go, but my guess would be S tier. I think op is S tier. We're going to rank it based on... Because even with the lag, it does nuts amount of damage. Right? You can kill someone that just got rezzed all the time. If you dome someone, like you're able to line up your first shot at least, even with the lag, right? Even with that frame drop, you can line up your shot. Like if they don't know where you're at yet. Screw you guys. It belongs in S tier. Because with the frame drop, it's A tier, but without the frame drop, it's S tier because of damage output. And I think it's above both of these for sure. And this is me going off of like how often I used to use the op and where I like think it belongs. So take that into account because don't do that yet. So many guns and 8s here. Jeez, big box, have a less balanced game. Holy crap. There we go. It doesn't break builds, true. Alright, damage, time to kill. Damage is nuts. Time to kill is incredibly low. Versatility, it fills that slot because you want a slow or a long range and a short range. But if you have the option for a Seiko, you're going to pick the Seiko. So it's definitely below the Seiko. Accuracy, you get time to aim every single bullet and you get a scope. Fit and loadout fits really good. It does suck against walls, you're right. Let's put it below the Magnum. Just for the wall factor. I feel like this could go back and forth depending on who's using it, right? If you get someone like Vape using the op will probably be above it. If you get something like some Stumping Up using the Magnum, that Magnum is probably like above S tier. Magnum's probably up here. But it definitely depends on the person. 164 on a computer player? On a computer player? Right, like, would 164 be different on a computer player versus a Oculus player? There's a player who would spam fire rate with the op in close range. Yeah, I did that yesterday. You're kind of praying at RNG at that point. Everything is almost perfectly balanced. I don't think quite. The Seiko's definitely not. Oh, comp player. 164 on comp player. Yeah. The issue with comp right now is this. This goes up here. This is 100% the issue with comp right now, is the shield sodas. You can stack 6 of them. So you can get up to 120 shields. So even if you hit a 164, they eat a banana and they chug 5 of these, and by the time that you get there, they're full health again. And they're able to kind of like slow you down because they can start chugging these and like peak a little bit, right? Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. And they can be peaking while they're regenning, right? Like the shield shaker, this is balanced. You have to stop. Like if you get hit, you have to stop and do an action. Like you can hide or you can like hang on the side of the wall or something, but you actually have to do something that prevents you. Like it actually punishes you for getting hit. It's like, okay, you got hit, hide for a second, regen, or choose to peek again riskily. This thing is like you got hit, chug 6 of them, and then peek again. Shield sodas are way up here. For sure. Shield shakers are balanced. But they're balanced, but I'm gonna put them at B tier. And the reason I'm putting them at B tier is the same reason that the swords down here and like the Seikos up there. These are down here not because they're not balanced. Like these are exactly where I think they should be, to be honest. The issue is that shield sodas. Like shield sodas are so strong, it nerfs where the shield shaker should be. It nerfs the shield shaker by an entire slot. Like they're so strong that if you have shield shakers in your inventory and you see like 2 shield sodas on the ground and you're about to get in a fight, it almost might be worth picking up the shield sodas. That's like, these are so strong. I'm gonna put them above the shotgun. Screw this. I'm going above the shotgun. They're not stronger than the Seiko, but these are so strong that it drops the shield shaker by an entire spot. Yeah, enemies carry the bananas. You just stack 12 sodas, and then you can push, and they're spraying you with an AK or UMP, and they can't even break your shields. That's always fun. But yeah, shield sodas are so strong that shield shakers are going down my spot. Let's see. Regular sodas suck. Worse than the knife. Like if you're running in the zone and you run into these might save your life. But that's about it. Like if you see if you're holding on to 6 sodas and you run into a banana, you're gonna be like, should I take the banana? Because it's just like the banana is good. S tier banana for sure. S tier banana. Now is the banana better than the op? No, is banana better than the NH11? No. But yeah, I'd say bananas up here. We'll put the like healing items on the right side so you guys can kind of see the difference between the guns and the. All right, there we go. Zone name for comp is S+. Yep. If you're playing comp, you want one of these 5. Maybe the AK. Like, you might throw the AK in there. But this is like all of the guns you're going to see at comp right here. Seiko, M10, P90, Magnum, Op, AK. That's it. People will take the DT. Like, people will only have other guns if they don't have options. Why shield pop beats shield shake? Because you can chug 6 shield pops and then re-peek an angle. Shield shake, you actually have to back off of a fight for a little bit to heal, and it only heals you 50. Shield sodas, you can just chug 6 of them and get right back into the fight while you're regenning. Like, these don't stall you at all. There's no, like, timer between using them. Mr. Rigo, so you're right. Move this over here. Regular sodas down at the bottom. Okay. Frag grenades. S tier. This is going to be a... When you get to late game, your ideal loadout is 2 guns, 2 bananas, 6 shield sodas, and then either 6 more shield sodas and 2 grenades. Is that 6? Let's see. 1, 2 guns, 2 bananas, 6 shield sodas, Yeah, either another gun or more shield sodas and then grenades. But you're always going to take frags above zones unless you can find, or unless you can't find frags. And the reason that frags are so good is because you can stack 2 of them. I'm going to put zone grenades at A. These are in a good spot. So frag grenades do up to 150. You can hit multiple people at once. And if you throw these into like a group of builds, you can break all the builds as well. So damage is nuts. Versatility. Late game when the zone starts closing down, if you have, like at the comp level, all you have to do is save your grenades. Like it's stay alive and save your grenades and you'll win. Because if you get to like the later zones where people are forced by the zone and you still have grenades, you win. Accuracy, you get a freaking line exactly where they're going to explode. Fit and loadout, you're definitely going to have a utility, or you should have a utility. If you don't, I recommend it. Strength against walls, it'll break like 15 walls. If grenades get stick into walls, it'll be at least B tier. What? Three guns? Yeah, if you're doing 3 guns, you're going to want to do sniper, rifle, shotgun. That's the only reason you do 3 guns. But because how good the Seiko is, you don't need 3 guns. You could just do Seiko shotgun or Seiko P90 and you'd cover all your ranges. Because the Seiko's so good, it doesn't give you an extra inventory slot. Or you could have an extra inventory slot for grenades and stuff. Wish you could stack zone grenades. Zone grenades are weird. So, yeah, Dave, usually we'll have one person on the team. If we're playing a comp match, we'll have one person on the team grab a zone and one person grab frags, or a couple grab frags. The thing about zones, if someone's like, especially late game, if they're in a corner, you can toss a zone grenade on that corner and force them out. Their builds won't save them. Like they'll spam build against it, but they're still going to take some damage. It'll force them out of the position, but it won't do damage. So it has to be used very tactically. So I think it's balanced. Like you need to be smart about how you use it. It does its job right. It's not overpowered. Frag grenades, you can stack 2 of them. Frag grenades might be A if like there wasn't stacking. Or if there was only 1. But because someone would just like build and you'd be fine. But because you can stack 2, you can toss 2 at the exact same spot, one after the other. One will break builds and the other one will kill. So these grenades would be basically balanced if you could only hold on to one of them. Zone grenade is good late game if you have items. Yeah, we can't make too many assumptions. Do op P90 M10. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, no problem, Pesky. You move your head to take a screenshot. Yeah, I'll just boop. I prefer zone grenades over regular nades. It's better for pushing, and it's better. But like, another thing about frag grenades is you can jump off the tower with frag grenades. You can wipe a team before they know you're there. Like the potential damage on these things, if you do some crazy strats, is very good. But I'd say this is the high tier list. So in terms of like high level comp gameplay, this is going to be about what you're looking at. Now, we can rearrange this a little bit for not high tier. We can just do like average player, right? Not super casual, but we'll do like people that know what they're doing, right? Seiko's going to drop because it takes so much more precision to be able to like consistently hit shots. M10's still going to be up here. P90's probably up here. The op is up here because I have met so many players that like just start playing the game and they can hit the op because the way the scope works. Like the op is so good for new players. So that's good. This is another precision weapon. We'll put the precision weapons off to the side for now. Or like the weird ones. And then we can rearrange these. UMP is S tier. MP5 has too much recoil. AK has too much recoil, but I think AK is better. DT is considered precision because you have to precisely reload. This one's precision. Oops. M60. Something people don't understand about the M60, and if you are like a newer player to the game, something to take into account. When you start firing the M60, don't stop. Hold the trigger down and just follow the tracers and then readjust where you're aiming. A lot of casual players will hold everything with one hand as well, so take that into account. But yeah, my tip for this one is if you're using it, just don't let off the trigger, guys. CX4 is definitely S tier. What would be the only gun to fight a single team close range? Sword. Depends on how close of range, but if they're in a building, you want a sword. The sword will give you the highest chance to win in clutch situations. Now, if you don't have a sword, you take the M10. Because the thing about 1v3ing or like trying to clutch a match, the faster you kill one person, the fairer the odds are. So M10 has the second highest time to kill. The first highest is the sword. The second highest is the Seiko. Well, actually, it has third. So it's sword, Seiko, M10. That's what guns can kill fastest in the game. But if you can drop in a building of 3 people and insta kill one with a sword, it's now 1v2 and your chances of winning are way higher. Also, the person you just get killed dropped a 50 shield. So if you get in a fight and they get some damage on you, you just drop off to that 50 shield, pick up the 50 shield, and refight. You already have an element of clutch with the sword, which is why for clutch situations, that's what I'd say. Now, we'll rank everything else. This is low tier. If you want to build a loadout around P90 without Seiko, P90 op, P90 MK? P90 MK would be good. P90 MK shotgun, P90 op shotgun, P90, yeah, those would probably be those two. Because MK fills, the reason that the MK is A tier, the MK was here, and the reason it was there is because it gets outclassed by the Seiko. There's some things that are just so strong that they drop other things by a tier, right? The shield sword is so strong that the shield shaker is down here. These are precision weapons, so it'll come down to player level. The fire rate on the Magnum and the recoil is hard to get used to for new players, so I'm going to put it probably at the bottom of B tier. It's one of the hardest for them to learn. The 1911 is actually pretty forgiving. The PX4 is not because of the low damage. So we'll do this. The DT, because how long it takes new players to reload, and because sometimes they don't always hit their shots, it's lower than it's low, but it's still good. Playing against a new player, this was always my fear. Even if they're a new player, they can probably kill you with a shotgun. You don't want to get close to a new player. If you know how to play the game, always try to pick fights at mid-range because it'll keep you safer. If you're playing, even against a new player, even a brand new player can get a kill with a shotgun. So be aware of that, guys. If you are if you're oh, this person's brand new, but he's hiding around a corner, if he has a shotgun, you could still die. So be careful. MK Seiko. As soon as they realize they can shoot this one hand, it's fine. They love the sword. New players love the sword. I'm actually going to put the CX4 up here, actually. Seiko's amazing. Yeah, it still is amazing. They just have to realize that they can one-hand it. And they're not very quick at bolting it. They'll hit their shots. Same with the op, right? If you put an op in a new player's hands, they're if they have played shooter, even brand new people, man, something about the way they made the scope, people can hit their shots. People can hit their shots with the Seiko, but they're not going to be faster reloading. So I'd say Seiko's here. MK, sword. Sword's probably here too. And then MK is probably B tier. So I dropped the Magnum to knife level. I'll just leave the knife in its own spot for now. I think new players would especially love the sword, do the speed. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, for sure. When they're not used to building, it gives them that extra speed to help get across. Keeps them alive a little bit longer. Why does the screen reticle disappear on the M25 when aiming and not moving for a while? It might. I think the reticle disappears based on how close it is to your eye, so maybe move the gun farther away from you. It might come back. I got VR stick for the first time after using the op scope. So the way that this game does the scope is not only better for rendering, but it also makes it so you don't have jank Pavlov stuff. I don't know if you guys have watched my annoying as hell like video where I just rant about the goddamn this. You guys seen this? This is how because of the way scopes work in the game, like you can have a shot like this, right? Like this. This misses. That's a miss. Like, because of the way scopes work, there's always a chance that it just, like, you're completely lined up and it just decides to not work, right? Like, the way that they did the scope in Population 1 prevents this jank from happening. Right? These are all misses. Miss, miss, miss. So like, as much as I hate the way that the op is done for Pop 1, or like I would prefer it to be more realistic, it is 100 times more forgiving and less BS than the way that they could have done it. Yeah, this is the newbie tier list, Red. New players try running and shooting with CX4 and they get wrecked. Yeah, true. The ump is great. Yep, ump is very good. Yeah, you're talking about the yeah. Play Enjoy. If you move your arms further from your body, it might make that come back. I don't know. I've never had this jank in Pavlov. I have it very frequently. I made an entire video on it. Is the MK P90 loadout good for comp? P90 would be good comp. I don't think the MK is viable in comp just because it builds. Comp completely comes down to how fast you can, or at least, sorry, the highest tier of comp comes down to how quick you can kill builds. Now, if you're at like mid-level comp, the MK might be fine. Or if you're at like, base level comp, it might be fine. But at the highest tier of comp, the MK is not worth picking up in your loadout at all. Shield sodas are going to drop for newbie players because they don't understand that you can just quick swap to the next shield soda by pressing A. Bananas. These are going to go up. They don't even pick up frag grenades. They probably don't even know what this does. They probably hurt themselves with zone grenades and frag grenades more than they kill enemies, not going to lie. They see you and get a free Seiko headshot, but you can't see them. Yeah, I agree. Hate the option because it doesn't work for me. It feels like it makes a huge disconnect. There is travel time on the bullets, Flame. So if they are moving, you have to lead them. Like there is bullet travel time in this game. You have to lead them by a little bit if they're running. And when you pull the trigger, it does, like the act of pulling the trigger does shake your controller a little bit. So be aware of that. I'd try messing around with your motion dampening in the settings to see if you can find a motion dampening that helps you stabilize your aim a little bit. But yeah, this is the new player tier list is what I'd say. What do you guys think? Seem fair?